Talk a little bit today about my process. You know, I've had people come to me and say, "Oh, your work is so detailed. Where are you out of your mind? How do you come up with these things?" And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So this is going to be the story of emerge, and her name is Emerge. And this is a person who is telling, all my art tells stories, and she's telling the story of women and asking women to rise up. And this actually is my daughter. And we are sitting in an airport, and this is us sitting in the airport, and she's giving me one of her wise, don't be acting up mom looks. Okay, so, and can you go to the next?
Absolutely.
Emerge. This is me starting with her, and I'm trying to figure out, first time ever using text, but I want the text to be able to, I know, is that the same thing? I want the text to be able to show dimension, and I do that by first doing it all wrong. I don't have anything right. I have too much white space, I have too big a font, and I learn as I go through that the paper can create dimension by the direction it's going in, how much white space is behind it, the size of the font, the kind of paper I'm using. And so I probably need to
Focus?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
on the top right here.
Should I
It should, but it looks pretty decent.
There we go.
That's better.
Okay.
Okay, and
Thank you,
so
Laura.
here, same thing, I'm continuing to experiment with how I want this paper to go. And as you might notice, the original, we see that her hat is back on her head, and I change that as we go along.
Wow, you do change it quite a bit.
And it continues, and the final looks nothing like this. It's just my thinking and what I'm going through and how I'm trying to figure out how to do it. And then I realized too that the text would smear, so I had to.
It would smear? Why would it smear?
Particularly the ones that came off of the newspaper, it would smear a little bit. So
Wow.
I had to,
Still has ink on it.
so that kind of messed me up. I had to work on that.
Did you not use any then?
Yeah, I did. I ended up
stabilize?
spraying it with acrylic so that it would hold it there, and then I
Stabilize?
could do stuff on top of it. Yeah. More of this, and you can see that I'm still continuing to move this text around, not knowing what the hell I'm doing. But I have put her eyes in.
You're getting shadow.
Yeah, it's getting there. So the eyes for me and all of the work that I do is what tells my stories. These are the women, and I want them to be able to say something through their eyes. So I wanted her to have eyes right off the get-go. But her, initially, eyes don't have the reflection yet that really makes a difference in who she is, what she's saying. Starting to get better.
Hmm?
Thanks. Still, I do the same when I'm doing my art, is that I will take a million pictures, because when I look at pictures, it looks different than how I see it from my eyes, and I will notice things that are not the same as the real. And okay. So, starting to put her hair in. Still don't have this right yet. But I'm looking at her all along. How do I get that dimension in there? Okay. Now I'm kind of catching on. So you can see that it's going in the right direction. This is creating some dimension up here. I'm starting to put in here what she wants to say about getting women to rise up. And her eyes are looking more wise. Looks like she's starting to say something now. But I realize I have this hat up here. I don't want that hat up there. I don't like it. I want a hat down here. Because I could make it like what she has in her picture, but it didn't look right on here.
Looked too much like a crown.
Yes, it did. It looked weird.
Uh-huh.
Didn't look weird on her in the picture.
Yeah.
It looked weird for me.
Yeah.
And so here I'm thinking about my background, and I'm starting to work with this tissue paper. It's handmade rice paper, mulberry paper, and I've never worked with it before either. But I want to be able to create this illusion that she is rising up, and I want some things to be going across her so it looks like she's in the midst. And so here I start with the words, what we're talking about, and have this going in the right direction finally, and this too. And then I start, close, words, and you can see all these pieces of paper here. Luckily, I can glue over paper.
When you're applying this, is it Mod Podge or something here?
No, it's acrylic medium, so it's
There's some chairs. There's a chair right in there for you if you want it.
better than Mod Podge because it's more archival quality, where it'll stick and not yellow.
Gotcha.
So when I apply it, I'm applying on the bottom and then on the top too, because I want to be able to protect it from the UV rays.
I understand.
So I'm experimenting with what I want to have happen. So she's getting there. She's moving along. I've moved her hat down and try to figure out how I want to shade that in. And I realized that from the picture, in the picture she's wearing a shirt that's just kind of falls around her. I don't want that. I want to show a naked arm because I want to put some tattoos on her because she's a badass. So I experiment with where, because she's kind of going like this, and so her shoulder was scrunched. I didn't want her shoulder scrunched. I wanted her to be like this. So, yeah, I kind of got that going. These are crazy close-up. Each of these pieces of text on here tells the story of a woman who has changed our world.
Wow. Wow.
So inside her is the woman. Inside are the stories. Inside of who she is and her talking to us and trying to encourage us are these women who are encouraging her.
Wow.
So she's getting here.
Yeah.
Got her hat down. Pretty much I have the text going in the right direction. I've got a little bit of shading to do. I've got her eyes talking to me. I've got her well on her way finally. Continue going on her.
Hey.
Here's me. So I've got my husband. He took this picture. It's like I gotta figure out where her shoulder
How the
goes.
shoulder goes.
Yeah. It's not going to go the way that she had it. So I sit and I have him take a picture of me, and it's like, all right, I know her shoulder should be right here. So I line up her shoulder, and I want to see skin here. And I was experimenting with some different kinds of tattoos, and so I thought a snake might be good. In the end, I didn't use the snake. So.
Go ahead.
Keep going. Seen enough of her. Here we go. So now I've got her shoulder in the right place. I've got her skin showing. I've got most of the text here going in the correct way. And again, these are all stories of women. And I really like the paper that I used for her back. That was great. So, piece of tape right there. So we're moving along. I'm starting to shade in places here. This is start. I've got more in here. This is my final version of the tattoo, which I thought was kind of a mini her. I'm getting my writing in here and the different colors of brown that I want to be able to show some, texture. Starting to put this out, and this is where I'm taping this because I want to paint the sides of her. So she's getting here. I'm a little unhappy with her eyebrows. I have to put some paper over her a little bit, but she is 100% paper.
Yeah.
Which sometimes it's challenging to find just the right color, the right hue, or the right shade. But eventually I do. It just takes a while. So this is my studio. Where it's crazy. It's crazy. And this was a piece that I was trying to emulate his style of how he was able to have this guy look like it was going through something. So I used him as my resource too. So I have so much paper on the floor that I have to go like, but it's nice, I can just close the door and keep on trucking.
Yeah.
So this is the paper that I used in the background. So this paper is so cool. I would put the paper and I would use, and my friend said use Mod Podge, which I tried to use, but I ended up using my own acrylic medium in the end, where I would do strips and then I would combine the acrylic medium with water and then paint on it. And then I could take that and put that on her. And depending on which color I was using, depending on how I wanted to position it, I could make it transparent.
From medium would make it transparent?
No, just the paper.
The layering of the paper
Yeah.
would make it,
Yeah.
I got you.
So, my lips actually look okay there. I know that I want to use purple, so this is where I start using the paper. And I wanted to be able to show her in the middle of the paper. I wanted to be able to show that she was rising up, and that all the things that she's saying on her hair is what's seen. We're seeing visually too. And I have the highlights in her eyes now, and pretty much like over here, the text that's together, is a little bit darker and. Working through, so here we go. We've got more of this, the smoke or the clouds that she's going through. And I also realized that I could make it look like when I would put the paper up, I could see through the paper and kind of create a little shadow effect. Because up here, it's really where the light is coming from. She's rising up to the light. And so you can see, and I'm not quite there yet, and I ended up doing more with her nose too. It's kind of funny, when I do these, I become so attached to them that I don't, and I'll sit her out in my studio door, and when I get out of bed and walk by, it's like, hi Marge, good morning.
How does she like it, the finished piece?
Zoe, she likes it. Yeah.
There's a couple Zoes hanging around Mitzi's house.
Almost everything I do is of Zoe.
Yeah, it's
It's
amazing.
really my model. It's not
Yeah.
really her.
Zoe does have perfect proportions in her face. She is absolutely beautiful. She could be. She has models. She has a model portfolio. So she's gorgeous.
She's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Here again is another video of my studio. And so
The workspace.
It's pretty. Like I'll say to people, you just won't believe what it looks like in here, and they wouldn't think that it would look like that. Because when I sit, I'm cutting, stuff's just flying, it's cutting, I'm flying, and then it's like, oh, that looks crappy, throw that over there, that looks crappy, throw that over there. Here's examples of some of the magazines too. Upstart, I use a lot of Upstart magazines because their paper is so nice. Upstart,
It's a nice weight paper, isn't
it's
it?
beautiful paper. Yeah, it's perfect.
They did a big write up on Mitzi, so pretty much the only thing she uses are cutouts and snippets from her article. So.
I did that. I cut out some of those this time, and I thought, I didn't put that in here. So I thought maybe I could make my own tattoo out of it.
Yeah.
But
It's an excellent article in Upstart, Mitzi.
Okay,
Next.
so here's a close-up of Emerge, and I'm starting to put some darkness in here to try to build some contrast with her. And this changes, and I've got the shadow coming across her eyes, which was really fun. It turned out really, I was really pleased with it. So there again is my studio. Embarrassing. Here we go. So she's emerging as we go along. To much purple. So then it's like, oh, too much brown. I gotta put more brown in here, isn't it?
You're at the end of your slide?
Am I at?
Yep.
Okay, so let me show you. This is my final version of Emerge. This is what she looks like. And so, yeah. So, I'm not quite finished with her, but almost.
You're not quite finished.
I know, yeah,
Really?
I know.
Why not?
I don't know. I feel like I need to have some more shadow or something in there.
More contrast?
Maybe.
Hmm.
I came back and put lots of little black
Ah.
pieces through here to kind of make this stand out a little bit more because it started to go behind the clouds. And I added some white tissue paper right here to make her nose stand out a little bit more. And I added some dark spots with the tissue paper here and there. But mostly, she's finished, mostly. So I originally created her to go in an art show. Maryland Federation of Art was having a show, and it was all about taking a portrait and changing how it's speaking to you. And I thought, I could do that. I'm thinking I could really come up with some ways that she would be speaking, and speaking about something that I'm passionate about. And so that was my initial fun, and created the whole impetus for me to begin her.
It's just beautiful.
Thanks.
It's amazing.
They ended
How
up
many
not.
hours have you put in
Oh, it
this?
goes forever. It's just forever
I mean,
because it's just so much detail in it.
I know,
And so much experimenting.
sure.
So yeah, it's a lot. She used a lot of time. This is. I use a lot of Playboy magazines in most of my work. She doesn't have any. But this is La Loba, and La Loba is where the souls of women and wolves come together. And most of her images are Gustav Klimt. I love him. This woman up here in the mountains, I use her all the time. I really, this is probably simpler than some of the ones that I do. Way fun to do her, and I loved her message too.
I use Photoshop, Mitzi, and I don't think I'm looking at your renderings here, and I don't think I can emulate that with my skills. Yeah, it would take a million years.
It would, yeah.
But so my question for Mitzi would be like, or do you guys think it would take as long in Photoshop to do what she's done, or is it even
Longer.
possible? Longer, yeah.
Longer, yeah.
That's
You
why
do it,
your
but it'd be much
that's why your piece is so very unique, is because this is work that it's very hand oriented, and it can't be emulated. So I think it's gorgeous.
Okay, this is Female Fury, and this is my horse Rachel. And Female Fury is all about women having fury. And I took images that sometimes our society would look down upon, and I glued them all together to create an image of power and strength.
That's fabulous.
Thanks. If you have 5 more minutes, I have one other piece I can show you.
Okay.
Okay.
Take your time.
She's a cutie, isn't she? So I took that picture, and I wanted to do something that was brighter than what I normally do, and I wanted to do some kind of flowers, and I wanted to do something about Mother Nature. So started off with my resource document, and here's my, this is my drawing, and this is where I tried to Photoshop some other flowers behind her. And I couldn't come up with anything in Photoshop that I liked better than what I was doing myself.
Do with paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
So here's the beginning of Garden Muse. And how do I do this, and what looks good here? And I ended up using almost all of these. These are all like up there.
Careful, we're gonna lose somebody.
Yeah, behind.
Oh, thank you. So these are all separate pieces of paper in here. And again, no paint in here, this is all paper. So how do I show the, the definition of her nose or her chin or the highlights in her cheekbones? And so using paper that I could find just one tiny little different color or hue or to make that pull together. And so this is my beginning.
Wow.
All paper, huh?
So here's again, so you look at them initially and it's like, oh, that's weird. How is that ever going to turn into something that you might like or look good? And it does eventually, you just have to keep going. Like definitely in the middle of things, sometimes I go, oh, there's no way that can look decent in the end, but it does.
Can you take paper off if you like,
No.
it's not gonna work?
Well, it
Once it's
depends.
on, it's
I
on.
start off taping them just to see if this generally is what I want, but then when I start gluing, I'm gluing, but I can glue on top,
Yes.
so I can make mistakes.
This is like,
Wow.
she made so many.
So she's evolving.
It's no mistakes,
It's always
right?
like when I get her
Yeah.
eyes in,
She
that's what's
felt
important.
there
for me.
it is.
I think
Yeah,
that's when she becomes, she gets personality when her eyes come in.
Yeah.
I oftentimes too, I'll take pictures of sections and then come back.
So it is.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So she's evolving,
I love
little
this.
by little.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to go too fast because this is really cool. These transitions are awesome.
Lots of Gustav Klimt
Yeah.
pieces in her.
Snuck in there.
I love Gustav Klimt, and I was trying to make her, because I knew I wanted to put her someplace that there would be all kinds of people. I was trying not to make her as, maybe as challenging as some of my others with lots of naked women. So these are some, but not as much. A few breasts here and there. So she's evolving, you can see.
What about the Lizzie? Bumblebee?
So yeah, Gustav Klimt, or some of my, I have bumblebees and, what else? I've got something else crazy in here, I forget. I also found that she's wearing this bracelet. It says my name on it. So she's coming along pretty good now. I feel like she's moving, and then it's like, what am I going to do on her bottom? What's going to happen on her chest? And then I had found these, and it's like, oh, that looks pretty good. I'm just going to have that there, and it kind of slides into that, so it's not a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
So she's coming.
And the neck, super good.
I'm feeling pretty good about her now. I'm feeling pretty good about putting these pieces in, and actually, this is the point where it's become really fun to put weird stuff in and to try to make it, different than the reality of a person you're looking at. Not that you would see a person with hair that looks like flowers, but. So trying to figure, and then what do I do with the background? So this is all paper as well, but it's, you're seeing one solid color here, so you can see the. How many pictures of her do I have there?
I
A lot.
think that was it. Let's see.
Okay.
That's the last one.
So,
Wait, that's your
Piece of
signature.
paper too?
yeah, these are all actually little teeny pieces of paper stuck in there. So this is garden muse, and any questions? Any?
She's one of my faves. Absolutely.
Mine too.
And I was curious about when the process becomes fun.
Well, it's fun all along, but it's really like in the very end part is when I can make the details that make it.
Or more playful.
Yeah, and it makes. And
You're
it
more
just
relaxed about it. It's
stands
like it's
out,
gonna
Because
work.
I already know I like it.
Yeah.
And I already know it's someplace. I just want to get those
You know
that
where you're
shading
going.
in.
Detail,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool.
The little circles.
Very nice.
very cool. Thanks
Very
so
cool.
much.
Yay!
I guess I want to montage one this afternoon.
Let me see it over. Excuse me, guys. Right there.
Yeah.